everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is
Hi, my name is Simon Ridgway, and I'm here to present a company, Volcanic Gold Mines, trades on the Vancouver Stock Exchange, the VSE, under the symbol VG. VG, visible gold. You'll come to understand if you get to know Volcanic, why that is the symbol. We have a lot of it. Company's got 44 million shares out and trades about 22 cents. So it actually has a market cap of a little over 8.5 million, and we have actually 6.5 million in cash. Yes, we are burning through that, but we're burning through it slowly, because one thing about Volcanic is the progress is slow due to the jurisdiction we're in. Permitting is time consuming in Guatemala. It gets there mostly, but it takes a long time for that to happen. The company's got two discoveries in the country, the Holly property, which we put a lot of holes into it at the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. We defined a resource of about 400,000 ounces at a grade of 9 grams per ton underground, however, close to the surface. And it's only about 40 kilometers away from a mine that I presume is going to get built in the next couple of years, the Cerro Blanco mine, owned by the Lahontan family, and about 100 kilometers from the Escobal mine, which is owned by Pan American, which is presently on hold, but I believe we'll see that mine back in production in 2023. We have a second discovery in the company way to the north of this area that I'll call the difficult area. We're up in the Motagua Suture zone, which is a very large structure that runs all the way across the Caribbean and through Guatemala. This is a much better area to work. It's got very few people living in the region. And we've made a very attractive discovery there. We don't really understand the genesis of it yet. What we do know is there's a hell of a lot of visible gold in subcrop and outcrop, and a good part of it in float over a broad area of about 25 kilometers along strike. The structural zone itself, the main trend is east-west, but within that east-west trend, we have a series of north-south to north-northwest and north-northeast structures that are carrying the veins that host a lot of this visible gold that we're seeing in the float and subcrop. Because the concessions or applications are not granted yet, we have not been able to do any physical work on the property, like trenching or drilling at this point. I do believe within the next 3 months, we'll get the concessions granted, and then the work will start. And I think we'll see a series of very exciting news releases that will come out over the whole year of 2023. Of course, this is conjecture. The concessions are not in our hands yet. We are guaranteed to get them. We've gone through all the right process in the country, filed all the right permits, filed all the right studies that we needed to. It just takes time. So upon the granting of those concessions, they'll see a flurry of news releases that they're going to start defining what I think is a pretty significant discovery. But stepping back a little bit, going back to the Holly itself, it's still open. This is a vein system that we've defined over about 600 meters along strike and about 300 meters, 300 to 400 meters vertical, with some fantastic drill holes that have been running, 20 meters of 10 grams gold and sort of half a kilo of silver. So that resource has been defined, loosely defined, at about 400,000 ounces at 9 grams gold silver equivalent. I think that resource can grow when we get back drilling again. But because the two gold mines that are proximal to us are both on hold due to the politics of the region, we're not doing any further drilling on that property until Escobal, at least, if not Escobal and Cerro Blanco, are in production. So in a snapshot, that's it. Volcanic Gold, VG, on the VSE, 44 million shares out, maybe 44.5. Market cap of somewhere less than 10 million with about 6.5 million cash. An excellent team of geos that have made many discoveries in Central America, as I have myself with this same team. We've been together for probably some 20 years. and probably found 4 or 5 gold mines within our region in this same geological setting that you see basically from Costa Rica all the way up to the Mexico border. So take a look. If you're a patient investor, it's a very, very good time to buy into volcanic gold mines. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Dave O'Brien. I'm the president and CEO of Stuhini Exploration. We trade on the TSX Venture under the symbol STU. Stuhini was designed to be shareholder friendly. I've been an investor all my life, and when I formed this company, I wanted to make sure that the shareholders came first. I have skin in the game. I participate in all financing post IPO, and I write fairly large checks. Eric Sprott has also been a key investor. He's been in 5 of 6 financing since we listed. I draw a monthly salary of $2,000 a month. What obviously my incentive is my shares. Presently, we have 30.7 million shares outstanding, 35.3 million shares outstanding, fully diluted. Funds raised going to the ground as opposed to paying lavish management salaries and going up for fancy dinners and bar tabs. There's no nepotism or family office space being rented back to the company. We've acquired several interesting all projects road accessible in Western North America, but our flagship project is the Ruby Creek project near Atlan, BC, which happens to host a Ruby Creek molybdenum deposit. We recently put out a mineral resource estimate, whereby the measured and indicated pit constrained resource is 433 million pounds of molybdenum. That doesn't include a lot of the drill holes that are outside the pit. That's just the pit constrained resource. The former operator, ADNAC Molybdenum, they advanced the project through drill definition, through bankable feasibility, funding and permitting into actual mine construction, which is derailed as a result of the financial crisis of 2008 where the price of molybdenum plummeted. They had a market cap in excess of $250 million and a $600 million credit facility. You look at us, our market cap is in the $7-8 million range, and people aren't paying attention. I believe we represent incredible value. We acquired an option on the project for $2.5 million in cash and shares in 2019 when moly was less than $10 a pound. Presently, it's over US $21 a pound. We've made 3 of 5 option payments, and we've issued a vendor 3.8 million shares and 120,000 cash. Why moly? What is moly? Well, it's a key steel alloy and primarily used for lightening and strengthening steel. It's also used for corrosion resistance. It's also used for high temperature applications and hardening. All steel contains molybdenum. It's also a lubricant. Why the Ruby Creek project? Well, also back to molybdenum. Molybdenum has also been designated a critical metal. We all know these critical metals are very, very key, and investors are looking for critical metals. The World Bank has also stated of 9 green energy initiatives. Copper and molybdenum are involved in 7 of 9, so we see new demand forming. Right now, the new demand that we're excited about is the wind turbines. The gearboxes have to withstand 25 years, withstand the elements. Therefore, they need high moly concentrations to be strong and corrosion resistant. Secondly, the German auto manufacturers have found by adding molybdenum to the cars, it strengthens them. They're both, you can go to thinner wall without compromising strength, and thinner wall steel translates to lighter cars. They've been lightening their electric cars by up to 25%. We know in order to increase the range for electric cars, we need to lighten them up. So it's very unique. Also, we have our deposit's very unique. 80% of molybdenum is byproduct from copper mining. There's very few of these pure play deposits such as ours. We believe there's about 6 out there right now that are comparable in size and scope outside of China. We don't want to rely on China for minerals. That's what Joe Biden and everyone's telling us. So a project like this need to advance. It's also being a pure play moly deposit is very clean and mining. You just simply crush the ore and you float it in water and it floats. The typical copper byproduct, you need a lot of harsh reagents and chemicals in order to float the copper. So it's very clean, inexpensive mining compared to other types. Lastly, we have several other road accessible projects. I encourage you to go to our website and have a look. They're all high quality projects.
Hello everybody, my name's Andrew Dinning. I'm the President and CEO of Sarama Resources. Sarama Resources is a West African focused gold explorer. And I'm sure anyone that follows the gold space and Africa knows that West Africa is a very prolific gold producing region. The company's primary project is the Sanatura project, and that's located in the southwest of Burkina Faso. It sits within the Hyundai belt, which is the most prolific gold belt in Burkina Faso, and it plays host to Endeavour Mining's Mana mine, Fortuna Silver's high-grade Yaramoko mine, and also Endeavour's Hyundai mine. So it's a very prolific gold belt, and our lead project, the Sanatura project, covers an area of about 1,400 square kilometres. It hosts a current mineral resource of 3 million ounces. A third of that is oxide and 2/3 of that's over 2 grams a tonne. So our primary focus is to advance that project now, and we've really focused on shallow, high-value material. The drilling that we're currently doing gives us a disproportionately high return on investment when it comes to drilling. It's typically shallow, air core, so relatively inexpensive, and gives us quite a lot of intersections for the metres drilled. So we commenced a 50,000 metre drill program in May of this year. We've completed 20,000 metres of that. We've got multiple new discoveries in oxides outside the current modelled resource. And importantly, we've generated a whole new geological analogue to target moving forward. So the mineralisation is typically sub-vertical porphyry dikes, and we've just drilled a flat zone, later stage event that is analogous when we look to other deposits within the belt. Probably the closest analogy is Endeavour's Kari Pump deposit, which forms a subset of their 5 million ounce Hyundai project. So we're very pleased with the exploration that we've done so far. I guess it vindicates our thesis that there's still a lot of gold to be found where we work. So within the Tankoro deposit area, we've got contiguous mineralisation there over 12 kilometres and semi-contiguous for 16. The ground to the west of us is held by Endeavour Mining, and they've got around 1.5 million ounces on that. So within the vicinity of our Tankoro deposit, there's around 4 million ounces of gold. Around 70% of our resource sits within 150 metres of surface, so it hasn't been really chased at depth at this point in time. The gold corridor where we're working, it's a very big system. However, most of the gold resource at this point in time sit within 2 deposit areas, one being the MM, which hosts about 1.4 million ounces in that particular deposit, and the second one being the MC, which hosts about 500,000 ounces. We had another deposit called Bondi, which we acquired from Orezone, which hosts around 500,000 ounces and presents us with the best drill targets in our upcoming drill program. So we're very pleased with the results so far. We expect them to be highly accretive and to grow the oxide resource. The primary aim out of our current drill program is to really hit all the low-hanging fruit and get the potential oxide reserve through 1 million ounces. So drill results to date would support us getting to that goal, and we aim to have that drilling completed by the middle of next year. So once the drilling is completed, we'll look to do a resource update. Following that, we'll look at the data gaps and then look to get an economic study out before the end of next year. So I guess in summary, the company has a very large strategic 100% land holding in the most prolific gold belt in Burkina Faso, and one of the largest in West Africa. The land holding is obviously contiguous with Endeavour's ground to the west. At some point in the future, that should probably come together. We've got a very large multi-million ounce resource that underpins the value of the company now. There's a lot of exploration upside. The drilling that we're doing now is very high value. It gives us very high return on money invested in the ground. And I think importantly, if you're looking in the gold space, the company has a very compelling valuation, trading at a fraction of our peer group's EV on a per ounce basis. So we're very happy with where our project's at. We'd probably describe it as a mid to late stage exploration play. It'll be established on oxides. The work we've done internally suggests it'll have a very rapid payback at the current spot price. Robust economics, a very simple CIL circuit to start with. But I think importantly in the near term, really it's just focused on oxide and growing that out and just improving the economics of the project. The project's already of a scale that will support an economic study, so really now it's just continuing to upgrade and enhance that. So to sum up, the company has a very compelling valuation, a very large and strategic land holding, a multi-million ounce resource, underwriting the value of the company, and it still has quite a lot of exploration upside. So with that, if you have any further questions to follow up, please feel free to reach out. go to our website and look at our most recent news releases, and that'll give you a bit of colour of what we've been drilling and the results we've been getting. And further to that, please feel free to reach out and contact the company anytime you feel like it. So thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video.
Hello, my name is Alistair Woodell. I'm the President and CEO of Inflection Resources. Inflection Resources is listed in both Canada and the United States, and it's focused on exploring for large gold and copper gold deposits in mining-friendly Eastern Australia. We'll be making lots of forward-looking statements, so I please encourage you to read the statements here on the screen. They're also available on our website. We're primarily exploring northern New South Wales for very large copper gold deposits in the northern extension of a belt of rock called the Macquarie Arc. This is Australia's primary porphyry copper belt, and all of the targets that I'm going to talk to are 100% owned by the company. We also have a project in Queensland called Karen, which I won't talk to today, but I'd encourage you to look at our website for further details. In terms of our corporate structure, we currently have 87.7 million shares outstanding and at a market capitalization around about 12 million Canadian dollars. The management group currently owns around about 31% of the company, and we're also being very lucky to have strong institutional support in the form of Crescat Capital, Resource Capital Funds, and the Sprott Group. In terms of the management team, it's highly varied in terms of experience, but a very strong technical component with the directors, myself, Wendell Zerb, Stuart Smith, having geological backgrounds, but also a nice combination of balance with financial expertise and capital market expertise as well. But generally, it's a very technically focused team with very specific experience in the belt of rocks, which we're exploring. So what are we doing on the other side of the world in Eastern Australia? Well, we are exploring this belt of rocks called Macquarie Arc, which is host to some of Australia's biggest gold mines. The big deposit in the belt is Newcrest Mining's Cader deposit. This is Australia's largest gold mine, as well as being a very significant copper producer as well. Evolution Mining, they have their flagship operation, Cal Mine. We also have the big porphyry copper deposits, North Park. This is owned by a Chinese group in a joint venture with Sumitomo. But northern New South Wales is an exceptional mining culture, and it's a fabulous place to operate. And we're essentially exploring this northern extension of this belt, which is covered with a veneer of sedimentary cover. So we're exploring this very large area of about 300 kilometers for these very large copper gold deposits. And this really gives you a flavor of the type of terrain we're dealing with. So we're dealing in flat, covered terrain, agricultural terrain, where they essentially grow cotton and grain and things like this. And this transitions the further north we go into terrain that's mostly used for cattle. But what this really means, it's a very simple and cost-effective place to explore, logistically extremely simple, and about as easy as it gets. No need for remote camps and things like this. So this is really the key image that explains the opportunity. So we have two maps here side by side, simple geological map here on the left. And on the right-hand side of the map at the same scale, this is a magnetic map. And what this magnetic map demonstrates is that this belt of volcanic rocks that outcrops in the south that's host these big mines continues underneath this sedimentary sequence. And we partnered up with a gentleman called Douglas Haynes, who built this incredibly detailed interpretive geological map, extrapolating the known outcropping geology to the south on the cover. And furthermore, he identified about 30 very large targets he considered analogous with the mines located further to the south in the belt. And we've been putting together a program whereby we're systematically drill testing these 30 targets over the last couple of years now. And how we're doing this, we've taken very much a portfolio approach. So we're literally drilling 2 to 3 holes into each target. We're drilling them as quickly and as cost effectively as possible. If we're not seeing key attributes in the form of favorable alteration in geochemistry that we need to see for one of these porphyry systems, then we walk away. But it's a very disciplined approach to testing a lot of targets relatively quickly. But the key here is doing just a handful of short holes into the bedrock, drill down through the cover sequence, and just maximizing the amount of data we can possibly receive from these shorter intervals of drill core. If we're not seeing that, we move on to the next target. And this really is sort of a state of the union map of our target portfolio. So this is our 30 targets here on the map, all color coded. So the icons in black of targets that have been drilled and killed. The ones in green have yet to be drilled. But the ones in red have come back with very strong alteration, which we consider analogous with alteration and mineralization we see outboard of these porphyry systems, which we're exploring for. So highly encouraged with a lot of interesting work completed to date. But the focus of the company in recent weeks and months has been on this Duck Creek target here, where we drilled a handful of early holes. And this is a quick magnetic map of our Duck Creek target. So this is a very complex area of magnetics. These three maps are the same scale. So we have 10 kilometers on the left, 4 kilometers, and 1 kilometer here on the right. So we're really very much focused on drilling, in this particular case, strong magnetic lows surrounded by magnetic highs. And the initial holes into this target have returned some very encouraging alteration in geochemistry. And this really just gives you a flavor of the types of rocks we're hitting. We're very encouraged with these preliminary early holes, and we're just gearing up to drill deeper. But these types of veins we're seeing here and the alteration assemblages we're seeing here certainly gives us encouragement that we're on the right track. And we're very excited to be drilling at depth underneath this Duck Creek target. So this key here is the scale of the target and the price here. These are very large porphyry copper deposits in a belt of rocks known for some very, very big mines. So really, that's it. A fabulous mining jurisdiction, exploring for very large copper gold deposits, all of which are 100% owned by the company. Very technically driven team, discovery-driven team, and we're aggressively drilling these targets with the goal of making a discovery in mining-friendly New South Wales. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Ann, and I'm the founder and CEO of Lahontan Gold Corp. Thank you for taking the time to hear this great story. We're a new company to the market. We went public April 13th. We are in the Walker Lane of Nevada, which is such a great place to be right now. So many mines in production right now, a very active place to be. It is a tier 1 jurisdiction, of course. We have 3 assets that are drill ready, permits in hand. The BLM has just been great to work with. We got our drill permits in less than 2 weeks timeline for all 3. So we're very fortunate to be in such a great place to be working. Our flagship asset is called Santa Fe. Santa Fe is a past producer that was mined from 1988 to 1992 by Corona Gold. 375,000 ounces of gold, 710,000 ounces of silver. It was 1.1 grams gold, 6 grams silver. So very good grade, especially during today's gold prices. For us as a company, though, we are so excited about all of that work to date because it gives us a plethora of data to work with. Over 100,000 meters of drilling, 1,100 drill holes of historic information for us to understand the property and the asset and focus on what we're going to do to drill this project out. So what we've done to date, we've drilled over 15,000 meters this year and have had very good results. This has been focused in and around the pits to date and connecting the dots between the 4 pits. We will be putting out a main resource in January of next year, 2023, which we're very excited about. This will be a 2-prong document, meaning that we will be telling you what our oxide potential is, what we have drilled out currently, as well as a sulfide component. There is a lot of high-grade sulfides down deep underneath these pits, and so this is going to be an important part of the story and the economics for this project moving forward. We are considered a mine under closure That means that we have 2 wells on the property, so access to water. We have a substation. We have road access. We have done a lot of the baseline reports that are necessary to go into production again. However, we would have to update them, but what it really means is we can fast track this asset back. So Q1, we'll put out our main resource. Then we'll do another drill program, and by the end of the year, we'll be looking at doing a PEA study. So we will focus on fast tracking this back into production, putting some economic numbers around this. So look for a lot of press releases coming out, giving you that information. Our second asset is called Moho. The Moho asset is a fantastic special asset to me because it has never been in the public domain. It was in my private company. We chose to vend this in to this company because they're in close proximity. They couple well together as assets to share the upside of, what we could do potentially with these assets. It was mined in the 30s by lessors. Gold grades were 25 grams gold and 300 silver. So this is not something we want to ignore, obviously. There's multiple parallel structures at this asset that have never been drilled out. So what we've done in the past is we've gone in and done mag and IP work on this asset. We have mapped and sampled underground, have found higher grades than what originally had been reported. We have done 1 round of drilling in our private company of 6 holes showing the same kind of grades. So Q1 of next year, we'll be looking to get a drill rig out there and get back at it and start putting out information on this asset. So look for that because it's going to be a really exciting part of our story. Our third asset is called Red Lick. It's right next door to the Candelaria open pit mine that was mined for 30 years. It does have a 16.5 million ounce silver equivalent historic resource on it. It's right next door to the Candelaria open pit, as I said. That's owned by Silver One. They are actively drilling there, so we're excited to see what they come up with, and then we'll get a drill rig out there in Q2 of next year. So just to recap, all 3 of our assets in the Walker Lane, close proximity. Our warehouse is in Hawthorne, which is only 30 kilometers away from our flagship asset in Santa Fe. Great jurisdiction to work in. We have great partners on this project. Victoria is a 51% shareholder. Myself and my business partner is another 12% of the company. We're very committed to this company. We look forward to talking to you about these assets and our company, and look for fantastic news flow in the new year. If you'd like to see some amazing drone footage of all of the assets and data on the project, further data on the projects, please go to our website, lahontangoldcorp.com. Our ticker is LG.V. Look forward to meeting all of you. Thanks so much for your time.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Link, and I am the President and CEO of Kiboko Gold. Kiboko is a new public company, having recently gone public on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol KIB. In June of this year, we completed an upsized $6 million IPO to advance our Harricana Gold project, which is located 55 kilometers north of Val-d'Or in the Abitibi Gold Camp. Kiboko's management team all met previously while working together in West Africa, where we reevaluated a gold project with a long history, but using coarse gold techniques. And what I mean by coarse gold is fine metallic grains of gold. Within a few years, we were able to define a large multi-million ounce open pit, high grade project that was ultimately sold to a much larger mining company. This team went and then searched for another project that would offer a similar opportunity where we could go reevaluate a project with a substantial amount of historic drilling, but using techniques that are more appropriate for coarse gold mineralization. This led us to Quebec and to what we call the Harricana project. The Harricana project represents the consolidation of about 6 different projects, all contiguous, covering an area of 100 square kilometers. The project is located about 15 kilometers east of Amos, or 55 kilometers north of Val-d'Or. Now, initially, it was not the location that attracted us to the project. It was that there was a substantial amount of historic drilling. We took almost a year to compile all the historic drilling from source documents, and what we found was that there was been nearly 1,000 holes drilled on the Harricana project. Most of them, though, concentrated in 3 areas. The largest concentration is an area called Fontana, where there's roughly 80,000 meters of historical drilling. Using the proceeds from the IPO, we initiated a drill program to go and drill 67 holes covering 11,000 meters to go in so we can evaluate and verify the historical drilling for a mineral resource estimation purposes. Drilling will complete. We've already completed over 8,000 meters of drilling over 55 holes. At this time, we have not yet reported any assays due to the backlog at the laboratories, but the news flow will be coming soon, and lots of it. The drill program will resume in January when winter conditions can resume, at which point then we anticipate the program will wrap up sometime in February, and then we'll be in a position to report a maiden mineral resource for the Fontana area of the project that we're targeting in the second quarter of 2023, which is only a few months away. Now, although there is no mineral resource for the Harricana project or even for the any of its sub-projects like Fontana, we have been able to use the wide amount of historical information to generate exploration targets. And what we see for Fontana is the potential to generate somewhere between 13 and 23 million tons at a grade of between 3 and 3.4 grams per ton, which if you sum that up and do the math, you'll see we're looking for something between over 1 million to 2.5 million ounces, which is a sizable target at grades of 3 to 3.4 grams per ton, which I think many would consider to be high grade for an open pit. Beyond Fontana, we're looking for, at the Harricana project, based upon all 140,000 meters of historical drilling, we're looking for 20 to 33 million tons at a range of grades of 2.7 to 3.6 grams per ton, showing the potential for a multi-million ounce system on the order of 1.7 to 3.8 million ounces. These are, of course, our exploration targets. They're based upon historical drilling, and there has not been sufficient exploration work done that is verifiable for the purposes of resource estimation, which is why we are doing our drill program now, so that we can upgrade those historical resources and rely upon them for mineral resource estimation. In summary, Kiboko's team is our coarse gold experts. This is what we generally specialize in. We're a new public company, recently funded. We've completed a large portion of our drill program with assay results pending, and we're expecting to report a mineral resource in the second quarter of 2023. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact info is available on the website and at the bottom of all of our news releases. Please also add Kiboko to your watch list. We trade on the venture under the symbol KIB.
Well, my name is Jose Vizquerra. I'm President and CEO for O3 Mining, and I am extremely excited to talk about our project. We are located in Val-d'Or, the Valley of Gold, an area where every kilometer a mine is found, where we have extraordinary infrastructure, airports, roads, railroads, water, manpower, electricity, green electricity, because we have hydropower from Quebec. Marban is located only 12 kilometers from one of the most important mines in Canada, Canadian Malartic. Our project Marban has produced between 1959 and 1992 over 873,000 ounces during this period of time. As of today, we have moved from a preliminary economic assessment to a pre-feasibility study which has been finished recently, and where we are going to be talking about the results of this very important study for us at O3 Mine. We will continue to be open in our relationships with the community, with the First Nations, with our employees, and with investors. Absolutely. We're extremely happy with our pre-feasibility study. We're showing a net present value of $463 million at a production profile of 160,000 ounces per year and a mine life of around 10 years. our internal rate of return of 23.2%, which means that if we were taking debt, the internal rate of return unlevered could go to over 40%, which means that the robustness of the project is impeccable. Now, if we were to commence to have synergies with our neighbors, like Canadian Malartic, located only 12 kilometers from where we are, our capex will be reduced in 2/3 to $160 million, which means that our internal rate of return will increase in at least 40%. These numbers excite us and makes us believe that we will have the next mine in Canada. O3 Mining is a company that has a very integrated team coming from different parts of the world to turn this project into a mine. We are the third generation of the Osisko Mining Group, the same group that built Canadian Malartic and that intends to build Marban, a group that has people, the money, and a fantastic project such as Marban and the exploration potential around Marban, which effectively makes us believe that we will have not only a mine for 10 years, but for over 15 years, which means that our current net present value of $463 million could be, with a reasonable risk, be elevated at least in 50%. With that, I'll invite you to follow us at O3 Mining at www.o3mining.com. This is a story of value that I recommend you to follow. Thank you.
Molten Metals Corp is focused on producing antimony and tin from past mines. We have properties in Canada, Bewesco, which is Canada's foremost antimony mine. And then we've got 3 properties in Slovakia, which is in Europe. And those are called the Tinensgrund, Bear Creek, and Troyova. Tinensgrund is our smallest antimony property, which we are currently producing from. We're busy setting up our concentrator plant in the country and have already removed a lot of that material, and that will be processed during the winter. Then Bear Creek is our tin operation, also with a historic resource on the property. That again will be concentrated by the same concentrator. And finally, Troyova, which is near Bratislava, near the cities in Slovakia, is a very large antimony gold property that was previously extremely well explored, and we're going to pursue a mining license on that. Antimony, why the focus? Antimony is a critical metal. It's on all critical metal lists. The price of antimony basically doubled in 2019 from $5,500 a ton to $11,000 a ton, and is now trading at around $13,000 a ton. It's used in a myriad of different applications. Defense has always been anything to do with heat resistance. That's a very big market for it. And the new market coming up is molten salt batteries. That is a stationary battery that is currently developed by Ambry, a spin out of MIT, and will be used to store renewable energy and feed it to the grid. So we're extremely excited about the opportunity to be a producer of antimony and to contribute towards world demand, which is increasing. If you want more information, you can check out our website, www.moltenmetalscorp.com, and you can also sign up to our newsletter and contact us directly. Thank you to 6X for allowing us to do this video, and feel free to reach out.
Good morning. My name is Sam Ash. I'm the CEO of Bunker Hill Mining, and I want to tell you a little bit about Bunker Hill. which is the cornerstone asset of a multi-asset mining company that we are building, centered around the Bunker Hill mine in the Silver Valley of northern Idaho. The Bunker Hill mine operated continuously for over 100 years, and over that period of time produced 165 million ounces of silver and 5 million tons of base metals. And we are now looking to bring this mine back into production. We have produced a 43-101 compliant resource with just over 7 million tons of measured and indicated material, which forms the foundation of a pre-feasibility study that was published a little over a month ago. And we are now moving rapidly towards the construction phase of the project to restart this mine by the end of Q3 of 2023. Just a little bit more about the resource. It is a zinc dominant resource, certainly initially, but certainly has a lot of historic silver production as indicated by the 165 million ounces of historic silver that was produced. We also have, in addition to the 7 million tons of measured and indicated, almost 7 million tons of inferred mineralization, which we expect to convert at a very high conversion rate, which is optimal for mine life extension. The pre-feasibility economics outline a restart to production at the Bunker Hill mine, upon which we will build additional value creation through exploration and mine life extension. Nonetheless, the restart economics are robust, 52 million of NPV with a quick payback and a very modest CapEx. Now that modest CapEx is a result of the amount of existing in-place infrastructure that we have to work with here at Bunker Hill, primarily the access and ability to reuse underground development drift to access the mineralization. In addition, we have acquired a full processing facility that is sitting in the yard in Kellogg, Idaho, ready for construction. That gives us a great degree of confidence in that low CapEx number. 5-year mine life, again, based solely on the measured and indicated material, with expectation of a significant mine life extension through resource conversion. We're well positioned on the cost curve at 77 cents a pound, all-in sustaining cost for zinc on a byproduct basis, and have a project that will generate $25 million a year in free cash flow over the first 5 years. And that's before any additional value creation through exploration and mine life extension. On the exploration side, there is exploration opportunities both within the mine, in particular at depth, where we see the opportunity to bring more silver into the revenue stream, and across the larger claim package that we control. The historic mine footprint encompasses right around 25% of the total claim package. And we've already done some geophysical studies over the larger claim package, and with strong indications of the possibility for sulfide mineralization of a quantum that is similar to what we find in the historic mine at Bunker Hill. Our project timeline has us focusing on construction through 2023 and entering into full production by the start of Q4 of 2023. At this point, we are on track and hitting our milestones for that restart. Again in Q4 of 2023. And I just want to close by saying that this current management team and this journey started in April of 2020. And in that period of time, we've hit every milestone that we have set out to achieve. We published multiple 43-101 compliant resources, the most recent of which had a significant increase in measured and indicated materials. We've conducted 2 PEAs along the way, and a month and a half ago, published a pre-feasibility outlining a robust restart of operations at Bunker Hill. We've also begun to grow the growth pipeline with the London Mining Joint Venture in Colorado. That's a gold-focused opportunity that we're really quite excited about. And what you're going to see us do is to continue to deliver along the pathway towards restart, and we'll be one of the few mines that comes into operation in the next 12 to 18 months in North America. So thank you very much for your time, and we'd be happy to have further conversations about Bunker Hill. Thank you.